shop June 4th, and I gotta say, we have not had a week. We have not had a week of product this exciting quite some time. We've had some great books last week. The second, my favorite thing is Monsters came out. That's a huge book. But this week we have a lot of books that I would venture to put forth are the result of the modern comic market. We have so many things out this week that are really only happening because of the way comics are sold nowadays, and it makes them just great buys for all sorts of different stuff. DC and Marvel have sort of done this thing where they lead the month with like big releases, and then they slowly put other things out like second, third, fourth volumes in later weeks. At least how it appears to me. So we've got a bunch of their stuff out, which we don't usually have. All told, tomorrow we're going to add another 2 or 3, but today we've got 26 different great graphic novels to look at. The store, of course, is open. People can come in. So we have the mask ready. So I don't want to waste too much time talking about these things. I'd much rather show the books off. So let's get straight into it. Let's flip this around, and as you can see, no, not start a poll, sorry. As you can see, like I said, there are a lot of tremendous books by great creators of all different stripes. Let's start over here with Rochette's The Last Queen. This is a fantastic, inky graphic novel by Jean-Marc Rochette, who is an incredible French creator, put out in English by Self-Made Hero, all about the wild and war and life and art. Just stunning. On the other end of the spectrum, no, this is a very fun book as well. We've got Strange New World, Scorpius Run. This is a Strange New World graphic novel, similar to the show, where they go on a specific journey, and each issue is a specific case and area and place they're going to, but it's part of a larger series. In that fun world, we've also got Titans Out of the Shadows. This is the new Titans run. It's very popular over at DC. The Titans have become the premier superheroes. Justice League is on a break. So they're the premier team. They're the team everyone goes to for major disasters. Came in as a hardcover first, and now it's softcover. Hawk Girl, Once Upon a Galaxy, Josiah Axelrod's second work for DC. The first one was Galaxy, Prettiest Star, Farthest Star, and this is came out of single issues rather than as a graphic novel like that one, and also does feature Galaxy. It's a great take on Shara Hall, one of the really popular crossover characters, I would say, due to Justice League Unlimited. She became very popular. Besides for lots of other books and things, the JSA book that she appeared in, that she was great. So this recontextualizes her for the current run in DC, where basically everything has happened. On that note, basically everything that's happened has ever happened, but we don't talk about it. Shazam! Meet the Captain. Dan Mora and Mark Waid finally throwing off the yoke of making Shazam fit with a version of the movies or all the stuff that Jeff Johns was obsessed with. They do keep most of the Jeff Johns stuff, though. John's series did end where Billy and Mary are the only ones who can become Captain Marvel, not the whole family, so that a new writer could take it over. And it's very much about a kid getting superhero powers. A kid can be a superhero. How does he mess that up? What sort of challenges does he face by being naive and immature? Really just a great little take on Captain Marvel. Speaking of great takes on classic characters, which we've just done 3 of, we now approach one of my favorite books currently coming out, Ryan North. This is actually the Ibn Khaleo, what's Farrelly's first name? Ibn Khaleo did the most of the early issues, and then Ivan Farrelly, took over. Actually, almost every one of these stories, because some of the stories are 2-issue stories, is a different artist. These are wonderful, just exceptional little science fiction tales that feature the Fantastic Four. The first one I would say is the most comic book, Marvel comic book, what you'd kind of expect craziness, where the FF are transported to a world of dinosaur heroes and dinosaur villains. Eventually, look at that. Eventually, Doctor Doom teams up with his counterpart, who's a T-Rex, and the Fantastic Four have to face them. This book, China Break, has a story that deals with a TaskRabbit style app that gives people jobs and things to do. Each of these people is being paid to say something to the Fantastic Four. And artificial intelligence. We finally get a kid-centric issue where the kids are challenged to try and make an invention. This famous list. Ryan North actually just did a podcast where he talked about this. Robert Boyle's list of things that they'll have invented in the future, and the kids try to do it. And then the last story is a really fun time travel one where Sue Storm discovers her own skeleton hundreds of years in the past. From hundreds of years in the past, and they have to figure out what happened. All just really great short science fiction stories in which them being the Fantastic Four, them being a family of adventurers, them being people who have enemies who use time travel, all this stuff affects the stories but does not dictate the story. Really just one of the best. I actually, the cover image that was chosen is from the story that literally made me cry when I read it. So, not highest endorsement I can give. Green Lantern back in action, similar to the way Shazam had to throw off a lot of Jeff Johns' additional stuff for the main premise point of a kid can become a superhero. Green Lantern has had a lot of weight and baggage added to him over the years that this series really does try to throw off. Germanico is one of my favorite artists. Actually, mostly have the Germanico cover. Working in superheroes today, he just really, his paneling, his movement, his action is always just so much fun, and he really brings it on this series, while also giving you that classic Hal Jordan bravado. This is also the comic where I learned that Hal Jordan is canonically Jewish now. No idea. Spider-Man Reign, long out of print. I think this book has been out of print for over 8 years, but Marvel is finally doing a sequel to this absolutely crazy Spider-Man Elseworld What If series by a very young Kara Andrews. I think it's this series started about 14 years ago. A very lonely and pathetic Peter Parker is visited by an even older and angry J. Jonah Jameson, which sets off a crazy chain of events that crosses over all manner of Spider-Man villains and Spider-Man storylines in ways you would never expect. It's really dark. Peter's literally haunted by the ghosts of his past. It's just a really rip-roaring comic. It really has so much going on in it that doesn't necessarily matter, but just feels awesome while you read it. Definitely recommend it. I would get even more copies if I didn't have so many new books out this week. Hurricane Nancy is face in for a reason, as you can tell by the cover. This is Fantagraphics Underground reprinting a Underground book that's been out of print for a while. Anything I can help you find? No. All right. Sure. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to ask. The Complete Web of Horror. This is a wonderful horror series from the 70s. I believe one of the major publishers put it out. I can't remember which publisher it was. It might have been a... I can't remember who did it, but we had really incredible creators. Bernie Wrightson, Wayne Howard, Ralph Reese, just doing horror stories. This reprints them in their black and white beauty, nicer paper, including the intro pages, everything but the ads. The latest Toon Graphics book, Fantastic Linears, Spanish comic creator whose work I really love, doing folk tales of Latin America in his unique style. Just gorgeous stuff for your youngest comic reader. Ibram X. Kennedy's Stamped from the Beginning, adapted by Joel Christian Gale. Joel Christian Gale has done some really great nonfiction books, and this takes a look at the systemic racism and its massive issues in the foundation of American life and American business. Award-winning book, now into a graphic novel, really great. And now we get to the smaller stuff, and this is what I'm talking about now. As I mentioned, a lot of the stuff that we have now is only because of the way comics are being published in the comic market. That's true of all these books here. A huge aspect of all these DC number ones, and even the current Fantastic Four run, even I would go back to 15 Years of Spider-Man Reign, is that single issue comics are trying to get new readers. Even if they're existing comic readers, they do stuff that wipes the slate clean, that lets you just come in fresh and get to it. And that's really what superheroes need more than anything. You can debate how long the runs should go on for and how confusing it is if there's every 2 or 3 issues something different, but the main point is to make something that is conversant with the known aspects of the character, the main thing people know about them, and easy to get into. And that's true of every single one of these. All right, we've got, moving on to the smaller stuff, Return of the Jedi hardcover book. We've now had all 3 of the original movies taken from their comic book adaptations and turned into board books. We don't have number 1 in stock, but we do have Empire in stock. Allison Conway. This is where let's skip. We'll do all those people together. We've got a great little golden book 3-in-1, 3 different Donald Duck little golden books that have been out of print for a long time, all combined. Carlos Sanchez, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Spidey, World of Reading. This is one of these picture-heavy, word-light adaptations of their episodes for your youngest reader. Secondhand Love, Yamada Murasaki's slice of life manga, originally published in a women's magazine about loneliness and dating. Bleak, but kind of hopeful at the end. The latest Elden Ring collection. We're going to get to Cassandra. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for stopping in. We're going to get to Cassandra in a second. We'll get to Virginia in a second. We'll get to this in a second. All right, let's do it already. A really cute shoujo manga where they skip the opening of a shoujo, will they, won't they? That's done in less than a chapter. This couple is together. They're happy. And the boy is from a very strict, proper family and wants no sort of sexual intercourse, and the girl is desperate for it. So it's a really cute kind of reversal of the horny teen thing. And all right, here we go. Now, this is the thing that I really wanted to talk about. And we're going to talk about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of the books. 8, almost basically a quarter of the books that have come out. Besides for what I said, really so tough. Besides for what I said about all those superhero books being very much about where superhero publishing's head is at, there are books there right now. There are books that are out on that account. Allison Conway's book, Cassandra Kalin's book, Molly Ostertag's book, that exist because of the way people read comics on their phone. Because people read comics on their phone, because people don't just look at Sarah Scribbles on their phone, they don't just read Bad Machinery on their laptop, but they scroll through comics, they read them in their inbox, they read them on their devices. That has affected comics enough. It has been going on for 10 years now, healthily. I'd say the screens have been big enough to read comics on for about 10 years, and then the market has really pivoted there, especially during the pandemic, especially with Shonen Jump. We talk about this all the time. Shonen Jump going all digital onto phones and devices. That's made a huge impact. So let's say for the last 4 years, 5 years, it's been entrenched. And that has meant that people whose careers come from there are getting job offers, are getting to do graphic novels. But more than that, it also means people who have a traditional career, who could be doing any sort of thing, are given opportunities to make comics in a different way. So what do I mean by that? Let's start with Molly Ostertag. Big push this week. Molly Ostertag's Deep Dark. This was originally on Substack. When Substack announced that for the first year, these new comic creators were going to get the full amount of their subscription and not pay Substack and all these other special deals. Molly Ostertag announced that she was going to do her next graphic novel as a Substack, and it was already purchased by Scholastic. Now, if you read this book, she wrote a whole post about how she's working to make sure that it works both digital and physical. But if you read this post, if you look this, obviously, it's queer, it's relationship heavy, it's got a fantasy element, it's all the things you'd expect from Molly Ostertag. But it works exceptionally as a book. There are moments, though, where you can see where this is supposed to scroll. There are even occasionally moments where things overlap from page to page. They're definitely supposed to scroll. And it works because Molly is a consummate creator who has made books in print so many times that she knows exactly what she's trying to do. This chunky read took me an afternoon, and I enjoyed every second of it. Just really great stuff. Carlos Sanchez. Carlos Sanchez started a career in animation. But because of the popularity of certain animation things and certain style books, he got to take this self-published zine series that he was doing, I believe on the web first, but it could only have been in zines, and turn it into a graphic novel. Again, I don't believe there's any part of this Rune that you're seeing that he's published before. It's an original graphic novel. But his work being on the web, his work having a very specific animation-based style, all lent to things, just like the superhero stuff is being done in a certain way right now to appeal to a certain audience. Places like Flying Eye, which have had success with, of course, Sammy Bosa's Fantasy Sports, and many other books like it, are looking for that. Brings you to Allison Conway. Allison Conway draws an intensive, beautiful, little alien world of bugs. She's done a few other things, but very, very focused on bugs, at least from the internet stuff of hers that I've seen. And she can now go and make, go to Black Panel Press, who are a really respected small publisher, and make a really fun little adventure series that's kind of all age, but a little bit mature, everyday slice of life with bugs. And it's just a gorgeous read. I don't want to unwrap it right now, but I may very well put it in my stories on Instagram later. Just roll with it. Again, affected by the way the market works. This is a graphic novel by a team that did a really great book about anxiety. Following it up again. This is last week we had this. Well, not last week. Sorry. Last month we had this with the Brinkley yearbook. If you do a book now, you're asked to make it part of a series. So Sarah Sachs had a great book called Picture Day, which they then had her follow up. The character from Picture Day is in this book. There she is. But is only a C storyline in the main storyline. Really gives you a world, but doesn't make everything rely one book on the other. Sink or Swim, I don't know yet if Sink or Swim is actually in the world of Just Roll With It, but it is also a thing dealing with anxiety. Not the OCD level anxiety of the character Just Roll With It, but a specific fear of swimming. The popularity of these graphic novels leads directly to DC doing these two things, which again, we're still not done. DC has been doing a compact size book, a bunch of superhero books, which I'm really not a huge proponent. I don't necessarily think it needs. All-Star Superman's a great one for that. So we'll be getting a bunch of that. There's some Batmans that will be really good. But the best one they could do is Mark Russell and Ben Cadwell's Prez. This is a fantastic take on the early 70s character Prez, 18-year-old president of the United States. In this one, a girl, same thing, 18-year-old girl who just ends up on the ballot as a joke, actually becomes president of the United States, and goes, actually first it says Setting a Dangerous President, I think was the name of the first issue, but the first storyline of the book was called The Apology Tour. And it's a really great book that really reminds you that American geopolitics are coming from a truly broken place, but are fixable. The popularity of this size and the popularity of recontextualizing old characters is not only something DC did and failed with a few years ago with the Prez line and Flintstones and things like that, but it's something they're still doing. The great Ngozi Okazu, creator of Check Please, writer of Bunt, New Yorker cartoonist, and stand-up comic, has been working for the last 2 years on a big Barda-centric adventure series, where Barda and the Furies have a slightly lighter life, though I would say it matches similarly to the ones you met in the DC Superhero Girls books. And it's just a big love letter to all the worlds Kirby created. There's the love story with Scott Free. The world Kirby created, but much more akin to a Avatar: The Last Airbender kind of situation. Really exciting, really wonderful characters, great voices, exceptional art. And it's just super exciting because the success of this also led other companies to do things like this. The recent Lilo and Stitch series had, I think, 4 issues, and rather than release it in some great big book, they put it out in this little digest, just like the Maleficent series. Because again, this manga-sized book sells, this Western stuff sells in manga size, and the creators from all over the internet are ready and willing to make books in that size. That's why Greg Pak and Jelly Giacomino, who are not traditional webcomic people, chose to work in a book that really worked in the size. I'm a huge Lilo and Stitch fan, and I really got a kick out of this book. We've got a few of them, not like the Maleficent, which was just, I think, wonderful, whether you know who the character or not, or know her story. This is more for fans of Lilo and Stitch, but definitely awesome. And last but not least, I've been saving this one for last for a specific reason. I gave my daughters Cassandra Kalin's The New Girl. And both of them went, oh, wait, hold on. They looked at the art for a second, and they went, oh, I know this person. She is huge on Pinterest, on Instagram, everything. Cassandra Kalin has been doing fashion and hair, comic strips, short little things for a few years and really has a huge following. What you wouldn't expect from that is that this is a completely original and new graphic novel. This does not, it lends itself from certain ideas that Kalin has had up on her short comics, but it is a fully realized, and her own life story, it is a fully realized, really beautifully made graphic novel. The only complaint that I have about this graphic novel is that pretty much every day, every character is in another wonderful new outfit. Everyone is always wearing such nice clothes. There's really no discussion about why they all dress so well and how they all have their own unique vibe and fashion. This is Halloween. But it works. It's not, it doesn't matter. It's she likes drawing, teen fashion, so let her draw teen fashion. It's just fun. It deals with a young girl coming to Montreal from Romania and having to adjust to a whole bunch of new things. But what makes it so good is that it's not about any one thing. The opening pages of the book, she gets her period. And it seems to be like, oh, it's going to be all about... It's not. It's just one of the many aspects of her life that she deals with from the age of 12 to 13, and it really is just perfectly conceptualized. It's another thing we're getting from what I would call, if we're going to be discussing this seriously, the modern market. In the modern market, people can hone their craft making fun little things on the internet. Look at Sarah Scribbles. Sarah Scribbles has 2 or 3 graphic novels that are just wonderful because she just made cute little jokes. Again, making cute little jokes, Ernie Bushmiller will tell you, requires a lot of work, requires a lot of thought, requires a lot of problem solving in how you tell stories, and makes strong writers, I believe. Cassandra Kalin stuff, if you go look it up, it's nice, it's cute, but all of that, doing nice and cute, and it works for years, finding your voice to talk about the things you want to talk about within these, allowed her to sit down and make a graphic novel. Again, I'm assuming with editor's help, but maybe not, that just slaps. It just works on every level that it's trying to tell the story. Really, really was a big fan of it. I'm probably going to order more once we sell out of these, which is not true of a lot of the other books I just showed. Once they're gone, they're going to be gone. As always, probably 20 or 30 books that came out today that I didn't even order. You place a pre-order, reach out to us that you're looking for a book. We can always get it for you, assuming it's still in print, but we can't order everything. Hope you enjoyed this look at the new books. If you want any of them, Joe, our most regular customer, I will tell you that I do have a recommendation for you from here. Joe, I think you would want the complete Joe's a classic horror buff, the complete web of horror. There's super great people in that, and I thought you'd like the Deep Dark. It's a really wonderful dark horror coming of age, but it is a big chunky read. I don't know if you'll get to it, so I don't want to pressure you. You've got lots of other books in your delivery. To everyone else, I will see you tomorrow when we look at new single issues. Until then, remember, God damn it, babies, you gotta be kind.